We are pleased to announce that the films selected as the Best Picture nominees for 2012 are Beasts of the Southern Wild, Dan Janvey, Josh Penn, and Michael Gottwald, producers.
Silver Linings Playbook, Donna Gelati, Bruce Cohen, and Jonathan Gordon, producers.
What this year's Oscar nominations have done is shake the bottle a little bit. I think until the list was read out, there was consensus that the fight for the main spoils was between Lincoln, Argo, and Les Miserables. And that's what everyone was kind of working on the basis of. And yet, the Oscars has kind of broken from that script. Lincoln is still there. Lincoln leads the field with 12 nominations. But suddenly, you've got this weird prospect of Ang Lee's film Life of Pi biting at its heels.
In times like these, I remember that he has as little experience of the real world as I do.
Life of Pi got a lot of respectful, sometimes even loving reviews, but it was seen as a strange, exotic beast. It was something to be kind of admired from afar, but it wasn't seen as a big awards contender, and now it really is.
It's interesting to maybe rewind about 4 months to the Toronto Film Festival. The People's Choice Award there is often seen as a really good indicator of what will go on and win the Best Picture Oscar. And this year, Silver Linings Playbook got the top prize.
The whole time you're rooting for this Hemingway guy to survive the war and to be with the woman that he loves.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Can't somebody say, hey, let's have a good ending to the story?
And you can sort of see that coming through in the nominations today, even though Silver Linings had sort of lost a little bit of momentum. But it's really lovely to see it doing so well. I really adored that film, and I think when you feel that way about a film, you're pleased even when it gets nominated in categories for which it doesn't necessarily deserve those nominations. I mean, Jackie Weaver for Best Supporting Actress, I don't think that's quite right, but lovely to see her there.
That's a relatively light, fun film that is the kind of junk food that's coming in after you've had your heavy greens and grits of the Lincoln biopic. So I hope in some ways that Silver Lining Playbook can cause some upsets here and there, if only for our digestion, I guess.
The nominees are David O. Russell for Silver Linings Playbook, Ang Lee for Life of Pi, Steven Spielberg for Lincoln, Michael Haneke for Amour, and Ben Zeitlin for Beasts of the Southern Wild.
I think the Best Directing category is really fascinating this year, and that you have the old guard. You've got Steven Spielberg there with Lincoln, a very old-fashioned film in its way, and then you've got Ben Zeitlin for Beasts of the Southern Wild, who, you know, who would have thought that he'd get in there and get a nomination, knocking out people like Tom Hooper or even Catherine Bigelow for 0 Dark 30. It's a real kind of a note of acceptance from the old guard of the Academy, saying that they will let a younger, fresher director in.
It's also astonishing to see how well Michael Haneke's Amour has done. Amour was seen as almost a lock for the Best Foreign Language Film Oscar. Everyone was like, oh, that's fine, well, of course it'll win that, and that's great. But it's crossed the boundary, it's crossed the border, it's sort of gone to Ellis Island and almost become a naturalised American film, in that it's there as a Best Picture nominee, and it's got 5 nominations in total, which is really incredible.
I read Amour was co-produced in Austria and Germany, right? The last time Austria and Germany got together and co-produced something, it was Hitler, but this is much better. Much better. Highly recommended.
This is the first time in a while that I've actually watched the announcement of the Oscar nominations and had fun doing that. And it was almost like a stand-up performance from Seth MacFarlane, who's hosting the ceremony in late February, and Emma Stone.
Congratulations, you 5 ladies no longer have to pretend to be attracted to Harvey Weinstein.
You just suddenly look forward to the Oscars after years of slightly dreading it. He was funny, he was irreverent, he was, you know, genuinely a bit shocking. You know, Hitler, drunkenness, and Harvey Weinstein, you know, that's 3 major targets.
You made such a bold entrance into a little drama.
Did I overcomplicate the plot?
Who doesn't appreciate the occasional twist, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
I suspect it's a terrible day for news editors at the more patriotic British newspapers. I don't know how the Daily Mail are going to spin this, because there doesn't seem to be any Brits in line for the top acting honours, apart from Daniel Day-Lewis, who I think is officially half Irish, half Brit. So maybe that's the headline. Half Brit leads charge at 2013 Oscars.
I don't really think it's been a disappointing day for the Brits, because actually there's loads of nominations floating about, so many that you sometimes don't notice them. Main thing is that they're sort of technical ones, they're in the background. So Les Mis, the lion's share of its nominations are production design and costume and makeup and so on. And that's the same actually for Anna Karenina, which has come out of almost nowhere in Britain at least and picked up really quite a lot of nominations, and Skyfall as well has got a lot of background ones. So it's sort of good news. There's loads, but you know, they're kind of invisible.
Euclid's first common notion is this: things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. That's a rule of mathematical reasoning. It's true because it works. Has done and always will do.
My suspicion is that this is still Lincoln's to lose, but it certainly makes the last stretch of the race more interesting.